Hello my friends, I'm going to share with you today how I make hand cream that I've been using. It's something that I've been playing with for a good while. I started out trying to make a wood finish, and I wanted to use an oil with beeswax to finish wood, and I make flutes, and I put the finish on these, but I also found out it makes a really good hand cream, and it has a good smell and a good taste on the finish. So anyway, that's the flutes. The beeswax that I'm using, I pour my wax into molds, and these molds come out to be about 10 ounces a piece, and my recipe calls for 20 ounces of beeswax. The wax that I'm using, the molds are in various sizes, but they're in ratios. 4 of these, 10 ounce equals 1 of these. And 2 of these equal 1 of the larger. So this recipe we're using 2. And I already put 2 in here, and they're heating up. I do this in a crock pot. I find these crock pots at either a dollar store or a Salvation Army store for about $2. And this one's small enough, it'll do a single batch. This one heats a little quicker, it has a high setting, so I'm going to do the small batch in the larger crock pot there. And I use this to melt my wax when I extract it from the hives. Okay, the recipe for, it's about a pint, a little more than a pint. It's of course 20 ounces of this beeswax. It's already sticking. 20 ounces of beeswax. This comes out to 1/4 of a cup. I've used a measuring cup and set the cup half filled with water, submerged these two, and since they're odd shapes, measured how much it displaced, and it displaces 1/4 of a cup. So 1/4 cup of beeswax, and then one of the main ingredients next to the beeswax is olive oil, and I'm using a California oil, and because they have, and I'm using organic and extra virgin. I don't want to use the other oils. California has a certification, so these are certified that they're not going to be counterfeit. A lot of counterfeit oils are coming from the Middle East, and even Italy, and they'll have marked on the bottles that the oils are a blend coming from Turkey and some of the other areas. Usually when it's a blend, it's sit in trucks for a number of times. So I want to buy oil that is pressed right away, and in California they're bragging about their oil and they're pressing it within hours of picking it. So this is a good oil to buy. Probably California olive oil is the best one, at least one that we can be assured that it's good quality. The other ingredient is coconut oil, and again I'm using organic coconut oil. This is probably a lot more, one of the most expensive ingredients that's in there. Okay, so the olive oil, I already have it measured out. 1/4 cup or 20 ounces of the beeswax, and then 3/4 of a cup of the olive oil. So that'll go in there. That'll help distribute the heat instead of being on the wax itself. If you put the oil in there, the oil will heat up and also heat the wax. The melting temperature of the wax is a lot higher, and takes a while for it to melt. Okay, the coconut oil, that's 1/4 cup. So between the olive oil, 3/4 cup, and the coconut oil is solid when it's below 76 degrees. As soon as it hits 76, it's liquid. But the 1/4 cup of this and the 3/4 cup of olive oil, that's giving a cup of liquid to the 1/4 cup of the wax. Okay, this is what I was using for my wax for my woodworking, and it does a really nice job. It feeds the wood rather than puts a coating on the outside of it. It will penetrate into the wood, and it is healthier for the wood. Okay, the third ingredient I'm using, okay, this is pure lanolin, and it's a food grade, and it's about $18 for this. And it kind of has a strong smell. It smells like sheep. The lanolin comes off of the wool from the sheep. I'm using 1/4 teaspoon, I already have that measured out, of the lanolin. Now this lanolin is extremely good for healing skin. So that's one reason I put it in there. My hands are always getting cut and cracked, especially in the winter time when it's real dry. This heals it and can heal it overnight. It's amazing how quick that works. And then that's the base to the hand cream. And then I'm going to add this. It's tea tree oil. I'm going to use 20 drops. Tea tree oil is an antiseptic. So I'm using I think this is a baby thing. 1, 2, 3. A little bit more than 20. 20 drops of tea tree oil. That's antiseptic. And now you can use essential oils for scenting. I'm using eucalyptus, and you need about 20 drops of that. Okay, if you're counting with me, there's a little bit more than that in there too. Okay, that's all the ingredients. Now, all that I have to do is wait until this wax melts. When it melts, then I'll pour it into the containers. Okay, enough time's passed. Everything just finished melting. The beeswax melts at 146 degrees Fahrenheit. One ingredient I forgot, and I just started adding this to my hand cream. It's vitamin E, and I'll put 2 gel capsules in, and it's 400 IU each. So the way I do it is nip the tip of them off, then squeeze it in. I don't know if those capsules themselves will melt. I know when you eat them, they have to dissolve. But that's probably not vitamin E, the capsule. That's inside. Okay, everything's liquid. I probably can't see from there. But we want to mix that E in. Okay, now what I'm using is my dipper, and usually I fill them up in a mason jar, but if you want smaller ones, these are leftover applesauce containers. So, not that I buy them in there, but when I do find them, I'll use that. This will take a pretty long time to cool. The beeswax holds a lot of energy, holds a lot of the heat in for a pretty long time. They use the beeswax for these automatic opening devices that you can use to open windows. It's like a hydraulic cylinder that they put beeswax in, and I guess it expands and contracts and pushes the cylinder. We're only going to get maybe 3 of those. We can turn that off. Close enough. All right, here is the consistency. And it's solid. That's quite a bit more than what you normally need. And if it feels greasy, just wipe it off, but I'm sure that entered all the pores. Well, that's it, my friends. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.